Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I actually haven't filmed in a while. It's been so busy where there's been a lot of weddings. It was summer and there's just a lot of events and stuff that are going on. So I was also away. I wanted to get back on it because I have actually really missed filming for you guys. So I thought today we could talk about what I have had done aesthetically. A lot of people do ask, and I'm really honest, but then obviously there's a lot of people as well that assume, and I see like some comments sometimes and they say it with such like conviction as though it is fact, and I'm like, my goodness, that's not the truth. And you know, if it was, fine, but at the end of the day, it's not for anyone to assume what people have done. It's either the person wants to say or they don't. It's just literally preference. I thought that I would do my makeup while speaking about this well, because I want to share with you my current updated makeup routine that I'm just wearing every single day at the moment, with some real new gems which I have become obsessed with. They're higher end products. Sometimes I'm like, are they worth the hype? Most of the time not, but this occasion I would say yes. First things first, I'm just going to moisturize. So this whole thing with aesthetics, now let's be honest, we live in, and if I look over here it's just because I'm just, you know, trying to see what I'm doing. We definitely live like in a world that, you know, it's a very common thing now, isn't it, for people to tweak, to get treatments, surgeries, whatever it may be. And you know, I think that more than ever, because this whole comparison thing, I'd say, is really evident in the world that we're living in. And you know, no one's exempt from comparing themselves to anyone. It's a very normal thing to do. I think that making it normal is fine, whereas I think that people go down this rabbit hole where they think it's not normal, and they feel, and then it makes them feel a certain type of way, and then it makes them feel really like bad about themselves. And yeah, you can get into a rabbit hole, and the automatic response to that is, well, let me change myself. I think that everyone gets that. I'm 36, and the first thing that I ever did was, before I get into that, I'm just gonna, it's like I'm leaving you on a cliffhanger. No, I'm just gonna use some of my YSL ultra blurring primer, because this stuff is just, the way it feels on the skin. This has to be one of the best primers on the market without a shadow of a doubt. It's an OG for a reason, and they've had it for so long because you cannot deny how it makes your skin feel. So back to what I was saying. The first thing that I ever got done, and this was definitely because of comparing and looking at everyone and being like, wow, but they look so nice, lips. I've always had full lips. It's not, most people would have said to me, oh, you didn't need to get it done, but actually when you're in the mindset, it's more, it becomes a psychological thing where you're like, well, if I get a bit, then I feel better. And it's not true, but yeah, like, don't get me wrong, that I was happy with the way that my lips looked. The problem is, then you start to think, oh, you become like desensitized to how big something may be getting, for example, your lips. And I know that everyone talks about this whole lip blindness, lash blindness, etc. And we've all been there. I definitely went down the road of lip blindness. Like, my lips did get really big at one point, and do you know what? It wasn't nice. What I actually noticed was that instead of me feeling feminine, I started to actually feel I looked masculine, because where filler moves, wait guys, I've got to interrupt you for this. This is unbelievable. Like, it's the WESTMAN Atelier, and it's the stick foundation. I got it in shade, where is the color? Oh God, I need the color, I need to find it again. Why doesn't it tell me? 9G, so which stands for, I'm guessing, 9 with an undertone of gold. This is absolutely stunning. Like, I've not felt like this about a foundation in such a long time, where I've literally been wearing it every single day now for the last 2 weeks. So I highly recommend it. It is pricey, but a little does go a long way. I'm just putting Tea to Tan on as well. And this is by Terry. I use a lot, I love this. Just be aware that when you're spraying it, it doesn't go all over the gaff, and yeah, you start getting all over your clothes. I do spray it quite close actually, because I don't want it to get in my eye. But it just warms the face up. I basically just blend this all together. And actually the Tea to Tan falls kind of on your neck, which is great because you always want your neck to have a bit of color. But can I just explain how this feels like the butteriest foundation I've ever used? That is a big statement from me. And it just melts, like it literally melts into the skin. Just show you that again. Yep. Oh, did that stain a bit? God, you gotta move quick with this Tea to Tan. I'm just gonna put a bit of foundation over there and there. Seriously, this is just stunning. I don't know if anyone else gets texture around this little area. I tend to always, and do you know what they are? They're basically those under the skin spots. So when you like kind of pop them, it's almost like water. So for me, that doesn't look far off from what my skin looked like, if that makes sense. It just gives it that extra blur, and it just looks flawless, but so skin-like. It is genuinely like a butter formula. It's amazing. You can tell I'm excited about this one because, and I really can give it a genuine, honest review, because I've been using it for 2 weeks, and I can say it holds all day, it doesn't get oily, it doesn't change, it just looks chef's kiss. Back to what I was saying, lip blindness. So then, yeah, I started to go down that route where you're like, oh, I started with 0.5. Oh, my lips, it seems to have disappeared. It didn't disappear at all. It was just my mind playing tricks on me. So then I went and got another 0.5. You think after 3 months, oh, it's gone. No, because actually they've recently done research, and filler does never dissolve. It just moves around, swells up, and finds a plot in your body somewhere. Which do I think is going to put people off? Probably not. But anyway, so what started to happen to me was I found I looked quite masculine. So I started to, you know, when it builds up. So what happened was I started to feel like I was like almost like this was all being pushed out. And I was like, this doesn't feel quite right, and it doesn't look right. So I flipped my lip, and I had like bubbles, and that was where like filler had kind of built up and just placed itself there, and it was creating this like thickness behind my mouth, and it almost looked like I had like a gum shield on, but it didn't feel like me. So anyway, I went and got them dissolved. Of course, I went and got them refilled, and again I went for a 0.5. Same thing happened a little bit, where I probably went a little bit too much. And water, when you're drinking water as well, it does swell the filler when you go on holiday, on the airplane. So you've got to like give things time, because you don't actually know how it's going to look till you let them settle for at least 3 months. So that was that with my lips. I haven't had them done now, I think in a year and a half, nearly 2 years, a year and a half, yeah. And I'm happy with how they are now. I literally had, yeah, like the last time, like less than 0.5 just in the top, and it was like a top up. And now I just won't do it, because I don't feel like it looks best on me. Now I'm gonna go in with, again, it's another WESTMAN Atelier product, and this is the contour sticks. This is in shade Truffle. So I know a lot of people love Biscuit. I think Biscuit is best for a fairer skin tone, or if you really want to give yourself that cooler contour. So I'm just gonna blend this out with my contour brush. And it's just great for creams, and it doesn't move the product too much, which I like. So you can still get that definition. But again, these products are very much like butter. Yeah, so then obviously you get one thing and your mind starts ticking like, oh, well, I've done that now, maybe I can get something else. But one thing I will say is I really did have self-control in those moments, because I would just really like think about it, like, is it necessary? Do I really need it? Like, am I just going to be adding foreign things into my body more and more? And yeah, I don't know, like, you don't really know what you're doing. And I always think, like, there's a saying, if in doubt, do now. If you truly are like not sure about something, just stay still. Don't rush. And that's with everything in life. So then I went down that road where I was like, oh, do I want tear trough? I didn't do it because, you know, you got to do your research as well. Like, I started to see people that had it, and you do notice that there's like a bit of a swelling under the eye. It does change the eye shape, because obviously if you're putting a product here, you're kind of pushing, so it could make your eye shape a bit more like this, and that's not a representation of you. So again, preference, but for me, I don't feel like that would have worked. I've always had like this silly, and I say silly now because it's taken me a long time to get to this point where, you know, I'm grateful, but I used to have this silly mindset like, oh, my face is so like big, and oh, I wish it was like slimmer, because I used to have like, you know, puppy fat, and you have weight, like, and that's fine. That is actually what keeps you youthful, but you don't realize it when you're younger. You're just like, oh, you want to look like everyone else, you want to have that small face, you want to blah, 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 blah. With that, I started to gua sha, and I was like, do you know what, this seems to be working. And I lost some weight and stuff like that. And, you know, as you do get older, like, you don't have the puppy fat on your face as much. The good thing is I have always had like plump cheeks, so going down the filler route in my face other than my lips wasn't really an option, because I feel like where I like the smaller face, I would have just looked like a big face. And that's another thing, girls, like, really do take your time when you're considering things like that, because remember, the way that the face is proportioned is actually really beautiful naturally. So when you're getting like cheek fillers and stuff, and they're adding, you know, something here, it's not really natural, is it, to come out from there, unless that is the natural proportion of your face. To go and put it there then starts to make it could make people look quite masky, and it doesn't look youthful. So I feel like so many girls, like, remember, I started doing anything when my lips were first, and I think I was 29 or 30, but I noticed so many girls, of course, because I'm doing makeup as well, and I see a lot of faces. I notice that they get like so much done, and, you know, I have to say, like, specifically filler in the face, I don't feel like it does most girls any favors. I think, look, if you really have no volume in your face at all, and it's a very, very like natural amount, and, you know, you can't see it, but there are absolutely beautiful girls that have such stunning features, amazing facial structure. They look youthful, they look young, they look, it's their face, and then they go and change and add just because, not because they really need it, but because they are comparing themselves, and then they end up looking worse for it. And, you know, just be mindful, really like take your time and think, is this something that I need? Like, am I really conscious about it? And remember, like, comparison is the thief of joy, and I know we all do it. It's something that we're going to probably always do, but it's getting to that point where we're like, when the thought comes in, just like reject it straight away rather than run away with it. By the way, I've just applied this YSL liquid blush. Now, I've seen some very interesting TikToks on the YSL liquid blushes, because they have brought out some very intriguing colors that almost look like pastel whites, which, yeah, I don't really think will suit many people, but I have to say this shade 44 is absolutely stunning. I call it like a cold girl blush because where you know that kind of weather where it's sunny but it's crisp outside, and it's more of a cool tone blush, so it gives you that really nice coldish look. Love it. Yeah, it's a really pretty blush. Back to me saying about like all this being conscious of my face, and you know, when I see pictures I was like, oh, why does it look like so like big? Why does it look? And again, that's all you do. You have a little bit of weight on you, you might have water retention, you might hold a bit more weight in those areas, like, and when you're young that's like very normal, but it's actually a good thing. So you can imagine when I heard about masseter Botox and how it slims the face, I was like, oh, you're joking. That is literally what I would love to do. Because now this is another thing, when people have like bigger jaws, or they might not have definition in their jaw, or they could feel like they want definition, they go and add loads of filler. Don't do it. It honestly makes you look so much more masculine. Think about it. You're adding bulk. Whatever you say, you could make it look squarer, you can make it look more defined. That's not how it works. It ends up holding water, it ends up making your face look like bulkier, you end up looking more masculine. I don't think it's permanently flattering. In that moment you might get that filler there, but after a while you're going to think, oh, it hasn't done anything. I've just used the Huda Beauty concealer. I am going to use this is from Real Techniques. I haven't used this yet. Ooh, what a very nice texture. So this is for liquids, and I'm going to use that to blend the concealer, and I love that it's got a little finger slot there. And then this side is for your powders, and it's meant to have a certain technology that picks up any sort of powder. So yeah, so then when I heard about masseter, I was like, okay, yep, I'm going to do that. I did it, and don't get me wrong, I actually really liked it the first time I did it. It definitely relaxed so it's Botox. So basically what that does is you're into your muscle it almost like you're injecting into your jaw straight through. And what that will do is, so you're not putting filler in or anything like that. You're actually putting Botox, which is a muscle relaxant. And what that did to my jaw was relax the muscle so then it wasn't overworking. So ultimately it dropped, if you like, and became, instead of being, you know, slightly more like angular, it became very like long. And the way that you have to look at muscles is, if you're going to the gym and you're pumping, that's why they say, oh, do I have a pump? So when you go to the gym and you've used your weights or whatever it is, you have a pump, your muscles are like bigger, they've got that like swollen look, you're working them. If you stop going gym for like, let's say a few months, all of a sudden your muscles, they kind of shrink. And that's kind of what Botox did to my jaw. I liked it the first time and I was loving, like, oh my God, my face looks so small. My sister and my husband were like, you're starting to look weird. Me being me, I was stubborn, so I went and got it again. And then I started to notice that I didn't look quite right. Like, it's almost like it was dragging everything down. Like, so you could get jowly with masseter, but it almost felt like my eyes were almost being a bit dragged down as well. And so I thought, do you know what? I'm not gonna get it again. I'm gonna just wait for it to wear off. And it takes quite a while to wear off actually, because it can last up to 6 months. So I let it wear off. But what happened when it was wearing off was I started speaking really bent. So my mouth was going like this, and it's not fully gone yet, but because one side was probably coming out of the body quicker than the other side, naturally it won't be very even. So I started to like have this like, yeah. And And then I started to think, okay, like, maybe I won't do that again. And I haven't now for, I think, like nearly a year. And do you know what? I have to say, I'm really, really, really relieved that I realized it wasn't for me, because yeah, again, it was just changing too much. So that was that. But I know it does work for some people. You just have to be careful when they do say that you could get jowly. It's not a joke. That was actually really nice to blend out the concealer with. So love that. I'm now going to try the powder side. And guys, oh my goodness, another, got a shout about it. Been using it every day. Gone back to Laura Mercier, but this is the ultra blurring powder. So it's the newest version and it is unreal. I mean, when they said ultra blurring, they meant ultra blurring. Like, can we just take a moment? I'm sorry. Yeah, that is amazing. And just the chin. And do you know what? I've actually stopped powdering like everywhere, if that makes sense. I do a little bit under my jaw, around the center of the face, and but I think it is due to this foundation. It just doesn't get oily, so it does like set itself. I just do this for that extra, you know, bit of flawlessness. It's a really stunning powder. Just in the center there as well. And I'm using the shade Honey, so I'm really enjoying not going too light as well in the center of the face. Yeah, to brighten a little bit, but to go really, really light is never really been my preference. I like when it looks more uniform and more natural. So that was my masseter experience. So I've also had Botox, and Botox is, again, like a relaxant, so it stops your muscles from overworking and moving. And I've had it in the center, on my forehead, and around my eyes, and I've had that a few times. I mean, personally, I recommend, if you have an event or something like that, always get it 2 months before. So if it's your wedding, before our wedding, I made sure I got it like a month and a half to 2 months before, because actually the first phase of Botox can look really strange. And you know, you look a little bit like your face is trying to figure out what to do, because your eyebrows go a bit high. One side might start working quicker than the other side. It needs that little bit of time to like level out. And also you just want to make sure that it looks like you, and you're not, you know, like this, or your eyebrows are too heavy. I'm just bronzing with Ye Old Faithful Give Me Sun by MAC, but I will list everything, guys. So yeah, I've had Botox, and actually sometimes it works better than other times. It's worn off after like a month before, which is, it's just how it is. But what I will say is, again, at this moment in time, I haven't had it since March, and I don't want it. Wore off actually after a month, because I think that it was, I don't know, it just didn't really take that time, and I just realized I didn't really fancy it. So I've got full movement back now, but the good thing is, when I'm still, I don't have the line. So it's more so when they say you want to prevent, and also it kind of gives you a little bit of that, like, oh, you look like you've slept for a really long time. But again, some people, I don't even think it suits. It can look too harsh. So it's just finding that happy medium and that balance, and also the right esthetician. Make sure that if you are going to an esthetician, that they are either like they're trained in the pharmaceuticals, they're a pharmacist, they're a nurse. Just never go to someone that isn't trained in these things. And recommendation is always a good thing. I haven't actually tried this. This is by Terry, and it's their new shadow sticks, and this is in the shade Latte. But you know what? It's a matte, and I always put like a tan on my eyes, like a bronzer. So I thought, oh, that's actually so nice. And that melts out like butter as well. Loves that. I've gone in a bit too much there, but nothing a beauty blender can't fix. That is a really, really nice natural colour. I might put a bit of that under my eye as well. And I'm literally just using my finger. Ooh, very autumnal. Fill my brows in a little bit as well. So in regards to what I've had done, that is what I've done, and I'm not lying, I'm not missing anything out. I would tell you, as I'm getting older, it's weird, but I think less is definitely more. And if you do want to get treatments, just be very like sure of what you want and mindful, and go to a person that visually has that eye that can be like, you know what, this isn't going to change you, but this might just give you that little boost that you want. And I do think people are going down the route now of more like facials, more skincare, more skin treatments. Like, I really want to try polynucleotides. I think that's like the fish sperm or eggs DNA, which they put into under the layer of the skin, and it really like reproduces and reboosts collagen, which is something that as women we stop producing quite early on actually. So things like that I really back. And actually my sister got polynucleotides and her skin looks amazing. Like, it really did give this glow, but again, you have to be patient. It is quite an expensive procedure, and you do have to get it twice. You won't see the benefits for like a couple of months, I would say. I did see it straight away, but I think that the real benefits come after a certain amount of time. This is my take on things, and you know, ask me anything in the comments. Let me know like if you've had similar experiences, and if you're like going down that kind of should you not mindset. And just remember, like, whatever you do, like, you have to feel comfortable and really trust who you are speaking to and seeing. Where they say you can be whatever you want to be, but yet everyone seems to want to be somebody else. So just like always remember who you are, and God's created you in his image and likeness. So really, he doesn't want us to change anything about ourselves. Everything that we feel is just it's our minds in a sense playing tricks on us. And I'm not saying I don't feel it, everyone feels that we're human. So just take your time when making decisions. You go through these phases, don't you? Sometimes you feel like really good, and then you might go through a little dip, and then you'll feel good again. It's just being a little bit patient. I'm using this, this is a YSL waterproof eye pencil as well, which I think is stunning. It has a little brush on the end to just give that nice. I'm also going to put that in my waterline at the top, because I've got lashes on, but I like my waterline to look a bit darker. Putting some freckles on now. Again, I feel like this really makes it look natural. And this is a little trick that I copied of someone off of TikTok. Can't remember, but they put them on their finger and then the dots, and then they just like blend it on their nose. So love it. Less likely to make mistakes. But this fret pen anyway is so easy to use, you don't really. How's that looking? Freckly. It does make you look like you've almost got a bit of sunburn across your nose, but I love that. I'm gonna go in with my, you know, I love it guys, you know, my Huda Beauty warm brown. Yeah, and I know it's weird, but with lips, the one thing that I found when they were too big, I couldn't overdraw them. and I actually really like the look of overdrawing. So it's like I had to find a happy medium, and now I feel like I can get away with overdrawing a little bit, especially in the center, but before I couldn't, because they were so like, they were big and they were protruding. I almost had to like underdraw. Been loving this Refi lip blush in Orchid. I just kind of pat it on. Gives a really nice pinky look to the lip. And then I go in with the YSL, and this is the lip balm. It's the Candy Glow Balm. Just gives that little bit of juiciness to the lips. Lower lash mascara. And I'm using the Rare Beauty, which is just the best mascara for lower lashes because you do not get any smudging or fallout whatsoever. I know this works for me because I use it nearly in every video for my lower lashes. And there was what I mustn't forget, a little bit of highlighter. So I'm just gonna dot a little bit at the end of my nose and just the higher bridge, just because I like where it catches the light. I'm not using any on my face just because I like the way that it has like a natural matte but skin-like look to it. This is the finished look. What do you think? I've been loving these products. Honestly, I've been using them every day. I just think they are amazing. Really, really stunning finish and just look so natural on the skin. I hope that you found this chatty, get ready with me, interesting, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask me in the comment section. But yeah, again, this is just me sharing my opinions and my experiences with you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you'd like to see next from me. I will link all the products below as always, so do check them out because they are honestly beautiful products. Thank you as always for your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and turn your notifications on. Sending you lots of love. Mwah.